top romance anime of winter 2025.
黒岩くん、この時間ね、先生いないの。
Now, here is a winter 2025 romance anime that could be divisive. Madaka Koya is impervious to my charms revolves around Mona, a girl who can make any guy fall in love with her. She is extremely popular at school, being treated as something of an idol. However, while she pretends to be chipper and bubbly, she is far more cynical than she lets on. When a new transfer student arrives who seems unmoved by her presence, Mona makes it her mission to force Madaka to fall in love with her. Mona falls for Madaka pretty much instantly, and her interest strengthens the more he rejects her. On his part, the boy's reaction is solely based on the fact that he is set to become a monk, so he has to resist earthly desires. Mona does not make that easy, often going well beyond reason to try and get Madaka to blush and fall for her. Madaka Koya is impervious to my charms can be a bit one-note since so many segments follow a similar structure and end with essentially the same punchline.
いい。私たちのことクラスのみんなに言ったら殺すから。
One of the better 2025 romance anime, I'm Getting Married to a Girl I Hate in My Class is notorious for having polarizing characters, particularly its female protagonist. That said, the source material is funny, and that has rubbed off on the anime. If anything, the adaptation's fantastic voice acting elevates the material, adding a touch of cuteness to Akane's tsundere antics. I'm Getting Married to a Girl I Hate in My Class is a better pick for comedy than romance fans, but the show should not leave the latter starving either. While they cannot seem to decide if they hate or love each other, Akane and Saito have great chemistry and banter, working well as both a comedy duo and a fledgling couple.
サイトも一緒にやるの。結婚でも何でもしてやるわよ。でも好きとかそういうのじゃないから。全然違うから。眩しい青春が私にもあったこと。ずっとこのままがいいな。子供の頃の私たちみたいにずっとこうしてたい。
Anyway, I'm Falling in Love with You is Typhoon Graphics adaptation of the shoujo manga by Haruka Mitsui. It's a reverse harem about 17-year-old Mizuho Nishino and her 4 childhood friends, with whom she shares very close, almost familial, bonds. However, that all changes when one of them, Kazuki, confesses to her and unintentionally starts a silent battle for her heart. Taking place during the year 2020, Mizuho's final days of high school seem to be defined by the social limitations enforced during the wake of an infectious disease. She's an aspiring mangaka struggling to create a story worthwhile. Because of the stagnancy that the pandemic has imposed on society, but little does she know that her own life might just become the romantic high school escapade that she's been instructed to write.
私は好きな人と一緒に花火を見た。
俺は中村照明。この春沖縄に来た。好きな人もできて。あ、キャンさん。
ヒーナ、おじさん好きだからね。
Okitsura fell in love with an Okinawan girl, but I just wish I knew what she's saying is an innocent romantic comedy based on the web manga by Egumi Sora. Main protagonist Teruaki Nakamura recently moved to Okinawa and fell for the ever-adorable Hina Kayan. The issue is that he cannot, for the life of him, understand her dialect on his own. However, the genuine romance in the anime series is between Teruaki and his friend, Kana Higa, who doubles as his translator. Kana secretly uses the time spent teaching him about Hina's dialect as an excuse to talk to him. Her issue? Teruaki is incredibly dense. Okitsura is a fun, slice-of-life romance that's easy to sit back and enjoy after a long day. And audiences can learn a bit about Okinawan culture as they root for Kana to muster enough courage and make her feelings for Teruaki known.
なんて？
今日、君の相手はできないんだ。
それでは、私との婚約は？
そういうことだ。
やった！
Studio EMT Squared animated Izumi Sawano and Yuri Sagata's rom-com manga. I want to escape from princess lessons. The young Duchess, Letitia Dorman, was betrothed to Crown Prince Clark when she was only 7. As a result, Letitia has had to endure years of a soul-crushing and suffocating life of practicing etiquette and studying history in preparation to become the nation's next queen. Letitia is a free-spirited heroine who thought she got her wish of being free from the shackles of her royal engagement when Clark showed up at a soiree with another woman, only to have her fantasies of freedom broken when the prince appeared in her life once more to clarify that they were indeed still set to marry. And now that Clark knows her true feelings, this Howl Pendragon lookalike is determined to win Letitia's heart, no matter the cost.
ちなみに俺と君まだ婚約中だから。
今なんて？
近々迎えに来るから。じゃ。
病気や事故とかに遭うこと多くない？それ陽馬のせい。そこで提案。私がつーちゃんを守ってあげる。代わりにどうか私を養ってください。
Blending supernatural elements with comedy and some romance. I'm living with an otaku net kunoichi? Follows a very ordinary guy as he is dragged into the world of ninjas by Shizuri. While talented and deadly, the latter is also 100% a net, meaning she tends to spend her off time playing games and generally refusing to go out. Prioritizing fan service, this series is a light-hearted romp that never takes itself seriously. Romance is part of the equation, but it is not the selling point. The anime is way more driven by silly hijinks and eki content.
13の冬、レモンソーダみたいだって思った。刺激物。あの時のこと覚えてるはずない。でも私にはあれが全てで。
One of the biggest romance anime of 2025, Honeylemon Soda shares a few similarities with Kimi and I Todoki. Both shows revolve around romances involving bullied isolated girls and popular guys, with their relationships helping the former to come out of her shell. Honeylemon Soda, the manga, has been around for roughly a decade, becoming a minor staple of the shoujo romance scene. As JC staff handled the adaptation, the anime has high production value, delivering warm animation that amplifies the central love story. Otherwise, the series is fairly typical for its genre and demographic.
石森優香、高校1年生、春。呪いがほどける。そのレモンソーダで。
犯人は複数いたということですか。
Coming from the talented hands at studios OLM and Toho Animations, the second season of the Apothecary Diaries has been one that anime fans have been waiting for since the conclusion of Season 1 in early 2024. While this interesting series details the mysteries involving the many dangers lurking within the walls of the Imperial Palace, it also presents the masterfully written slow burn between Mao Mao and Master Jinshur. The final stretches of the Apothecary Diaries' first season saw the sparks of Mao Mao's romantic flame for Jinshur beginning to flicker. Now, with Season 2 being set to adapt Volumes 3 and beyond of the light novel, fans who have read ahead are eagerly anticipating more tender moments between the pair and the adaptation of the novel's pivotal frog scene.
マオマオが行方不明。
薬屋の独り言。
俺はこの会社に好きな人がいます。
Also known as I Have a Crush at Work, Can You Keep a Secret? Offers a refreshing change of pace by focusing on adults rather than high school students. Yui and Masugu are deeply in love and cannot resist their natural pull, which proves to be an issue since they work at a place where romance between colleagues is forbidden. The manga has a pretty positive reputation, and this winter 2025 season romance anime is a great adaptation, blending humor and wholesome moments well. Yui and Masugu are essentially leading two lives, and their attempts to make them work are entertaining and cute. Frustratingly, the anime is not available on a Western streaming platform, limiting its reach significantly.
夢の意味なんて考えたこともありませんでした。
愛している。
でも私はこの世にただ一人の夢見の異能者で。
My Happy Marriage is a soft, Cinderella-esque tale set in a fictional version of Japan's Meiji Restoration era. following Mayo Saimori's life after she escaped her abusive childhood home and found a place of warmth and belonging in the loving arms of Kyoka Kudo. The first season was one of the most touching stories seen in the past decade. Seeing Mayo overcome her trauma and build a bond based on mutual trust and affection with a person who's come to value her more than anything in the world. The second season of My Happy Marriage begins with more trouble concerning grotesqueries, the conflict surrounding the Yusuba bloodline, as well as the harsh judgments of Fuyukudo. However, these are not challenges that can easily tear Mayo and Kyoka from each other's arms. They are prepared to fight tooth and nail to stay together and keep their happy ending alive, and audiences will witness just how much they are destined for one another in the episodes to come.
お初にお目にかかる工藤家当主臼葉家次期当主そして愛しの我が娘よ